Welcome back everyone, it's Sierra Nova here, and today we're going to get into another Let's Talk Anime, this time with One Piece. So we're going to get into first impressions, any dislikes or any complaints I may have had along the way, and then we're going to wrap things up with turning points. Alright, so first impressions. Even though I'm a major One Piece fan and it is now my favorite anime, I wasn't always like this. I don't even think it was something I was interested in trying at first. To be honest, I kept starting and stopping this anime to the point where I almost gave up on it. However, I think a college boyfriend or an ex-boyfriend at the time kind of encouraged me to give it a try, and I ended up caving and taking it seriously. So with that in mind, I determined that I was going to give it an actual effort this time and put everything else aside. Immediately, the first thing I noticed was how bad the animation looked to me. I also couldn't help but notice how disproportionate their bodies looked. Specifically, I remember their hands looking really big, almost as if they didn't really match their bodies. All in all, it was pretty weird and took some adjusting to. So my starting and stopping One Piece had nothing to do with the length of episodes. I didn't find that intimidating. The only thing that really bothered me and prevented me from really getting into One Piece had to be the animation. Now I'm not sure if anyone else had this problem as well, but I will say that the animation did get better and I fell in love with the story and the characters pretty quickly. So much so that I forgot I had a problem with the animation in the first place. I believe if anyone can look past the animation being kind of crappy, and if they can get past being intimidated by the length of episodes, which is usually the case, anyone and everyone would enjoy it. They'd see why One Piece is the best-selling manga of all time and why it has so many episodes. If anything, that's a good thing, and if nothing else, the amount of episodes One Piece has should speak volumes for how good and popular the series is. It's definitely not for show. Okay, so believe it or not, I actually don't have too many complaints about One Piece. At least I don't think it's too many. I only have a few, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. One complaint I want to discuss off rip is about Usopp. I mean, how exactly did he survive a bat to the cranium in Alabasta? Now this might be pretty far back for those of us that are current with the anime or the manga, but this was during his fight with Mr. Four in Merry Christmas. I mean, it's not like I have anything against Usopp, but I think that's something that should have killed him, or anyone for that matter, because that was a direct hit. Anyway, I know sometimes anime logic just doesn't make any sense, and this might be one of those cases, but this scene has always bothered me, and it still kinda does from time to time. And while we're on the topic of Usopp, I don't like how he acted in Water 7. Personally, I feel like Usopp was being really inconsiderate and selfish. Luffy, Zoro, Chopper, and Sanji all rushed to Usopp's aid and confronted Frankie's people on Usopp's behalf, and it seemed like an insult for Usopp to turn around and disrespect Luffy in front of everyone like that. And over a ship, no less. Now, I'm not saying that it was just any ship because it did carry value and meaning. I mean, I can understand and see why everyone was so attached to the Going Merry, but what I don't understand is why Usopp was so outraged with Luffy. It was clear that Luffy didn't want to part ways with the Going Merry, but Luffy also knew they wouldn't make it any further with the ship in the condition that it was in. Luffy wasn't getting rid of it for no reason or just because he wanted to. Luffy was prioritizing everyone's safety and understood that even though this was a tough choice, it was one that needed to be made in order for them to continue their journey together. They were all looking at the bigger picture here. Anyhow, after Usopp fought with Luffy, I agreed with Zoro 100%. No one needs to be disrespecting a captain at the end of the day, and Luffy calls the shots and he needs to be respected. And Luffy shouldn't be disrespected over something like this, no less. Alright, so let's get into designs. For the most part, I only have an issue with 3 character designs: Frankie's, Robin's, and Chopper's. In Frankie's case, I don't like his post-time skip design. To be honest, I feel like his current design is way too flashy and I prefer his previous design. And maybe that's because it didn't really feel too over the top. In addition, his previous design kind of suited him and I feel like he was a little more serious. Now, I could be wrong about this one, but now it seems like Frankie is mostly goofing around a lot, even more so now than ever. And maybe that's because he's happy and he's in a different, positive, and exciting environment. I mean, I get that he's a cyborg, but if it was any way possible for it to be dialed back just a bit, I think I'd be a little happier. Or at least let him wear clothes that actually fit him and don't bulge through. Some of the clothes that Frankie decides to wear literally looks as if he can bust out of his clothes at any moment with even the slightest of movements, and I personally just think that it looks bad. Now in Robin's case, I'm just gonna come out and say it. Similar to Frankie, I prefer her old design. A while back I mentioned this on TikTok, and I think I had several people in the comment section saying that Robin probably felt happier and more comfortable around the straw hats, and that was the purpose of her design change. I think I'm okay with that response. After all, happiness is important as well, but in my opinion, Robin lost that sophisticated and mysterious aura that she had. I mean, I gotta say, I really enjoyed Robin's darker outfits. Not only were they stylish, but they really seemed to suit her personality and her slight morbidness. Not to mention, Robin just appeared so sophisticated, and that was something that played a role in Robin's attractiveness, at least for me, because I found Robin absolutely gorgeous, and it was mostly due to that certain mystique about her. Plus, I feel like her previous design suits her profession a lot better. That's exactly what I would expect an archaeologist to wear. Reserved, sophisticated, and something that reflects her intelligence. I really got that aura from the things that she was wearing. That's what made her stand out from Nami and most women. However, I don't think I could say that as much anymore. Now, our last design is Chopper's design. Now, I'm ashamed to admit that I didn't pick up on this immediately. It was actually pointed out to me on TikTok. Chopper does look a lot more kid-like, and I don't like that. Again, I prefer the previous design. Chopper still has an important role as a doctor, but he looks like a plushie or some sort of prop to be put on display. So it's kind of hard to take him seriously when he looks all cutesy and childlike. If anything, I wish they'd make him look a bit older, not younger. His previous design suited him just fine and in a way reflected the harsh background that he had. Thus, he appeared a bit rough and scruffy, but mature. At least that's how I feel. Alright, so my last complaint actually has to do with Nami. So I could be missing things here, but I wanted to see more moments of Nami taking down opponents, or at least holding her own. However, it doesn't feel as if we're getting those moments anymore, or they seem so far and few in between. Now, of course, I'm not expecting Nami to be on par with others like Zoro, Sanji, or even Luffy, but it's just nice seeing that she had to fight using her climb attack, and I like seeing it because it was kind of unique. Now, it's not like I'm expecting her to take down Big Mom or Kaido or anything, but I also expect her to not run away when opponents come her way, like Ulti in page 1 for example. I mean, sure, obviously they're a lot stronger than her, but at least show Nami trying. I mean, that was kind of what she did against Cracker during the Whole Cake Island arc. Even if she didn't really stand a chance, Nami at least did what she had to do to buy Luffy some time. Okay, here we are with our final section, which is turning points. Now, one turning point is that the women definitely play a part. Now, I don't know if this is the same for everyone else, but I get tired of seeing damsels in distress. It gets redundant, and then not to mention the characters that are acting as damsels in distress end up becoming useless for the most part. Like that's some sort of trait or something. It's disappointing, and it honestly takes away from the story in my opinion. I find that if the damsel in distress thing is overused, I personally get annoyed. Another turning point, the side characters aren't useless. Now, I'll probably stress this a bunch of times before, but I don't mind stressing it again. I absolutely love that every Straw Hat has a role only they can fill, and then some. Like Nami is the navigator, Sanji is the chef, Frankie is a shipwright, Chopper is a doctor, Brook is a magician, and so forth and so on. But that's not all. They're also able to be relied on and work together as a team when it comes down to it. Like Luffy isn't just doing everything, and there are certain instances where he has to rely on others. And one of many good examples of Luffy working together with others would have to be the Paramount War arc. Anyway, for lack of a better word, everything feels balanced, and I really enjoy that a lot. I love how Luffy isn't taking everything on himself, and we do get to see others in action like Law, Kid, and even the Samurai. It extends beyond his crewmates, and we see multiple uses out of plenty of characters like Buggy and even Bellamy. It's not a one and done type thing. Now, as for our third turning point, the main character has a weakness. Now this is really great. I like this because it eliminates predictability. Now besides the Devil Fruit users not being able to swim, there's also the fact that Luffy doesn't win every fight. I enjoyed that a lot because it's not as predictable, and it forces the main character to either retreat or use their head a bit more. It also forces them to overcome their struggle, and it's always nice seeing Luffy's back against the wall and watching him trying to weasel his way out of that. I can honestly say this is one of the reasons why I enjoy One Piece so much, and I can't help but have immense respect for Luffy because of this. Alright, so the fourth and final turning point would have to be impactful and emotional character deaths. Now, even though I can probably count on two hands the number of characters that died, it doesn't make their deaths any less impactful. More importantly, it's always done extremely well. The writing is impeccable. Like, there's not too much death, and then it's also not treated as if death is completely non-existent. I guess this is one of those things that need a middle ground. I mean, you can't have too many character deaths because it doesn't mean anything after a certain point, and this is kind of what happened to me with the Comet Got Killed. On the other hand, you can't have little to no death because then it seems like there really aren't any consequences, or if they're repeatedly coming back somehow like in Dragon Ball Z, but then again, the show is literally called Dragon Ball Z, so I can't really be mad at that or complain about that too much. Anyway, my main point is that I felt emotional towards every loss in One Piece, and it may have not affected me the same, but it all affected me to some degree. Anyhow, I think that pretty much summed up everything for me. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. How do you feel about One Piece? Do you agree or disagree with any of my complaints or turning points? And lastly, what is something that makes One Piece enjoyable to you? Leave a comment down below expressing how you feel. Thank you for tuning in. Sierra Nova is out.